Hey guys, so we are going to be doing 3 different cups that are essentially the same but 3 different ways. So your first step is you want your white cup ready to do an ombre. So I'm going to show you guys how I spray paint this ombre. I am going to be using sweet pea, Rustoleum, and then I've got white. And obviously my cup is already white. You're going to do this with 2 out of the 3 cups. Well, I'm doing it with 2 out of 3 cups, show you the different ways, but one of them I'm going to leave white, and you'll see why in a minute, but I just wanted to show everybody how I do my ombre. So, I like to start on the bottom, and then I just like to hold my can like this, and I turn my cup while I'm spraying, and just kind of point it upwards, so that my paint is going lightly towards the top. And you go around, you just want to go around and make sure that you like how everything looks. This one's really kind of a little harder to photograph or video because it's so light. And then you want to go in with your white. And again, you know, instead of pointing up this time, you're going to point down. So hold your can down. Almost like you're spraying your hand, but you want to get it on the cup.
Covered in paint.
And that was my daughter giving her input.
Whatever.
Okay, so now you've got a gorgeous ombre.
Yes.
And we will be on to step 2, which is glittering and mica. All right, so the next step that we are going to do, we have our white plain cup that we are going to glitter an ombre with Rainbow Ice from the Glitter Guy and Mochi from the Glitter Guy, which I felt like was the closest pink to what we had sprayed. So on this cup, we are going to use spray adhesive, and we're going to cover the whole cup with spray adhesive and then go in and do the ombre. The other 2 cups, on this one, we are going to add some Rainbow Ice just over the entire cup. And then the last one, we are going to put additive in the epoxy. All right, so I just covered this whole thing with spray adhesive, and I'm going to go in with my darker color first to start my ombre. And I like to do the bottom very last, the very bottom of it. I like to just put it in my pile, so don't have to worry about that right at the moment. But you're just going to sprinkle it on until you like where you're at. And then when you get up almost to where you want to be, I like to just tip it ever so slightly, angle it down, and then just let my glitter fall down. And then there we go. There's that. So we've got our pink right now. All right, and now we're gonna go in with our Rainbow Ice for our white. And again, I just did spray adhesive, just a coat of spray adhesive on this for my adhesive for the glitter. And I find that if I do not base coat my cup, that I am going to have to do 2 coats. But that is why I wanted to show you guys the different ways you can ombre and which ways take less time. This personally takes the longest, but I wanted to make sure I showed you all of the different ways. And just go over any of that in the middle there. And this is what we've got so far. So we need to go in and do a second coat on this ombre. And we're going to go spray this with the spray adhesive and then start with the pink again. All right, I have sprayed my spray adhesive outside, and now I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my second coat. And again, this is a pastel line, so the color is not going to be as vibrant if you do not base coat your cup. There I am angling again just to make sure I get a good ombre falling. Sometimes if you're doing darker colors, you might not need to do a second coat, but if you don't base coat and you're doing lighter colors, you're gonna probably have to do that second coat, which is why I prefer to hack pretty much all of my pastels. It's a lot easier. So going in with our white. And I feel like I got pretty good coverage the first round with the white, but we want to blend that ombre a little better. I just kind of sprinkle it in the middle there, and there we go. So that is our plain white base glitter ombre. And now we're going to move on to the hacked ombre, and we're going to use the exact same glitter, which is the rainbow ice. We're going to use that on a spray painted ombre, and you will see why it is my preferred method. I'm going to go spray this with spray adhesive really quick, and then we'll glitter it. All right, so now that we have sprayed this, we're gonna go in with our rainbow ice. And since we're doing it all the same color, it's going to be super quick. And I like to just dump it right on since I don't have to worry about it. Let me get a little bit more on there. Didn't quite have enough in the shaker. All right. See if I missed any spots. And voila. A spray painted ombre hacked with rainbow ice. So I will show you guys how those two compare, and then we will epoxy the mica as well. All right, so far we have our glittered ombre here and our hacked ombre here. See the difference between the two? And I will epoxy the mica, and we will see how that compares. All right, so now we are going to epoxy this ombre with a tiny bit of the Ultra White Iridescent Mica powder in our epoxy. So there's about 20 milliliters of epoxy right here. And I am just going to take, honestly, the tiniest bit. Oop, sorry, I'm not left-handed. And I'm just gonna do a dash, just like that. And I'm gonna mix that up, and I am gonna apply it to this tumbler. All right, so now we have that Ultra White Mica in the epoxy on the tumbler. And then I've also epoxied the hacked version with rainbow ice. And this is our Mochi and Rainbow ice on a white base. All right, the epoxy has dried, and now we can take a look at that comparison and the sparkle. So this one is that mica ultra white in the epoxy, Super pretty. It's a nice subtle shimmer. This one was Mochi and Rainbow Ice. And then this was our hat with Rainbow Ice. So 3 different ways to achieve essentially the same